in the bottom of the box is something that I am so excited for. What is this? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, for today's disc review, I don't have any discs, so I figured instead we would just kind of do a Q&A with me and Manda. What do we have here? We have a package from Doomsday Discs. Now, I did talk to the people over at Doomsday, and they are very nice. The contact I had was Dr. Death, and he sent me a care package. I don't know much about Doomsday. I know they are located somewhere in Area 51. That's all the knowledge I really know on them. So I'm really excited. This is a full box, so we have a lot to unpack here. Let's get started. Like I said, I don't know much about Doomsday, so I can't tell you guys a ton about these discs. They all will get a review at some point, but I'll have to do my research then. And up first, we have the Doomsday Rot. This looks like your normal kind of deep, big bead putter. I have no idea what the flight numbers are. 172 weight. Feels good in the hand. I also don't know much about their plastic, so this will be a learning curve for both of us. Up next, we have the Area 51. They have such a cool scheme going on over there. Their merch is so cool with the Doomsday theme. All of the names of the discs fall right in line. I absolutely love it. This disc has a pretty wacky rim on it. I am not gonna lie. I would guess it's super overstable, and there is two of them. So you guys know what that means when it comes review time for the Area 51, one for me and one for you. Up next, we have the Plague. Now, this is one of maybe 3 Doomsday discs that I have thrown. I've thrown the Plague a couple of times, and I have a good friend of mine who pretty much only throws Doomsday. Shout out to Wiggy. I have tried some of his before, so I am excited. The Plague, I think, was a pretty stable driver. Not really overstable, but you can throw it pretty much as hard as you can. All of the artwork on these discs are super cool, super unique. I'm really excited to give this one a toss. Up next, we have the Blackout, and we have 2 of them. These are both the same weight, 174. Very cool plastic, kind of infused. I'm not sure what they call it. I don't know. This feels kind of like an understable fairway driver. That would be my guess. So that might be one that we love because, you know, understable fairway drivers are my favorite. So I'm really excited to give these a toss as well. Next, we have the Famine. I believe this is our first little indicator of their disc plastic types. This says radioactive, so I'd guess this is their radioactive plastic, as well as this Blackout we have here. But this Doomsday Famine, the artwork is insane. I am a huge fan of this artwork. A lot of these I could see being tattoos, honestly. This, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be. It feels like a 12 speed. I don't know. It's, you know, it's got that bend to it. We'll just have to find out. Up next, we have the Dystopia. The theme is so cool, guys. This is not a paid endorsement at all. They send me these discs. I'm a very honest person. The theme that they are rocking is so cool, and they really stick to it, and the artwork is just insane. It's taking artwork on a disc to a completely new level. This Dystopia feels great. It kind of feels like almost ESP swirl plastic. I mean, obviously it's not swirl, but that's kind of the feeling I'm getting. It feels really good. Like this one, I feel like I just want to rip down a fairway. Feels like it will go pretty far. Up next, we have the Doomsday Ice Age. Again, amazing artwork. I think it's that radioactive plastic that we saw earlier. I will notice one thing, the flashing is not super sharp. That's always a bonus for new discs. A lot of them have a bend to it. I will say that a lot of their discs have a pretty decent bend to it. None of them feel super stiff, but again, the artwork coming through crazy. And up next, we have not 1, but 2 Cataclysms. These things got some wicked dome to them. Right off the rip, I'm thinking like a domey Corvette. That's how this feels. I'm gonna guess it might be a little on the understable side, just what my gut's telling me, but just mega dome on these 2. You guys can check out the artwork. I don't know. I'm not really sure what to expect from these ones. Kind of the same plastic as that Dystopia. Feels really good in the hand. Not sure what that plastic's called. I'm not sure what this is called, but we'll figure all that out later down the line. Up next, we have 2 Midlife Crisis. That's I believe these are just called the Crisis, and then somebody just had to take advantage of the opportunity, which is just hilarious. I mean, you can't blame them. I'd have to take the shot too. Very funny. This feels like a pretty meaty approach disc. It kind of feels like my Justice, probably really good for flick shots, but nonetheless, the Midlife Crisis. And up next, we have the Doomsday Financial Crisis. Oh, these are the same disc. This is just a different plastic. So I believe all three of these are the same. They're just the Crisis, and then now we have the Financial Crisis. I like this clear plastic a lot. I believe this is the only one we got in this plastic. Feels a bit more stiff. This feels identical to my Justice. Great for flick shots. Really cool stamp. I mean, I like this. That clear plastic is pretty. And if you hold it up, I don't know if the camera shows it, but there's a ton of lines going through it. I don't know what that's about. I've never seen it before, but it's super cool. Up next, we have, this is an actual lid. This is an actual, I believe they sent me a Tupperware lid. What on earth? The depth charge? This thing is crazy. It feels like a polecat, but it has a super thick rim, like really thick, super cool artwork. I have no idea what to expect with this. I mean, fan grip approach shots all day. I don't know about the power grip. That rim is crazy thick, super cool disc. That is wild, the depth charge. I also got a notepad with them. That's kind of an oddball to throw in as a freebie, but like you guys know, we take freebies, we take notepads, we take them all. We got a sticker that's gonna go on the refrigerator in the van, AKA the Yeti cooler. And up next, we have a Doomsday bucket hat. You love to see it. It says, go down throwing on the back. This is a large. This will not fit me. Guys, my head, when I got this hat, it took 4 days on a hat stretcher, and it's an XL to fit my head. I'm not proud of that. I'm just letting you know what it is. You know what I mean? My head is giant. We got 2 of these bad boys. I'll try to stretch one out and rock it. I will definitely wear a Doomsday bucket hat. Really cool logo, awesome. In the bottom of the box, when I came into this video, I didn't know what we were gonna review today. I think we might check out the Midlife Crisis. We'll give one away for the video, and I didn't know what my other pick would be. And in the bottom of the box is something that I am so excited for. It's right up my alley. If you guys know anything about the discs I like to throw, but I like weird. What is this? This thing is absolutely huge. This is like Jaguar sized. The Bunker Buster, ridiculous name, but I'm 100% for it. Here's a Midlife Crisis. I mean, what on earth? This 100%. It's like, but it has the rim of like a fairway driver. Like Innova has 5 what we call super class discs. They're all low speed, like all of them. The Jaguar, the Condor, I think they're like at max 4 or 5 speeds. Like they're all pretty similar. The Zephyr is a lid disc, so is the Lynx. Like this is massive, and it has a fairway driver / driver type rim. This is absolutely nuts. 100% we are gonna go throw this immediately. And then we're also gonna test out the Crisis, an overstable mid-range. I think these will be super usable. Make sure, guys, leave a comment. Out of all these discs, which one looked the more interesting? Leave that comment and you're entered to win a Crisis. It's that simple. Let's get started. And here we are at hole 1. It's about 240-ish feet, dead straight. You kind of want a strong left finish, and we're gonna be doing our first throws with the Doomsday Crisis. Now, I am happy that they sent us 3 discs. We have 2 different plastics, so this one will be for you guys, and I wanna throw this one. Without question, this clear plastic feels absolutely great. I would guess that this kind of bendy plastic will be a little less stable, and I think this thing will be an absolute meat hook. The flight numbers are 4204, so yeah, we're expecting a lot of beef. I'm kind of comparing it to my dynamic disc Justice. That thing is also a meat hook. I could not get my Justice to this pin. I can get it about 260, but I need a ton of room for the hyzer. This thing needs to be able to hang straight for at least a second. I will throw these on a bit of an ante to get an idea of it, and I think they're gonna be great for those little flick approach shots. So up first, we're gonna go with the more bendy plastic. I'm really not sure what the name of this plastic is. I do apologize. I will throw it up right here once I do a little more research, but let's see how it does. Okay, that is meaty. That is really meaty. We did get a little bit of turn off of it though. If you guys could see that, it did not immediately dump. So I think as that breaks in, you will be able to push the distance on it a bit more. I do not think we made it to the pin, but we are gonna try it with this plastic, same exact shot, and see if we notice a difference. Yeah, I definitely would say that one is a tad more overstable. Both of them were workable though. They weren't that gimmicky overstable, so there is a lot of potential with them. Now we get to try the big boy. Up next, we have this behemoth of a disc, the Doomsday Bunker Buster. The flight number is coming in at 7402, so I was right with those fairway numbers. I am super excited for this. It's probably gonna be beefy with those flight numbers. The weight is 185. I've always wanted a bigger disc that had the fairway style rim. Being how much of a nerd I am and how, like, I've thrown the supersized disc more than most people out there. So this is super exciting to me. I cannot wait to see how it flies. Oh, wow. Okay, that hung a lot straighter than I thought those flight numbers would suggest, which is a good thing. It still had a strong left finish, but I think it just, the glide something, it made it all the way to the tree line, probably about 240, just humming dead straight, and then it crashed. So that one we're gonna wanna take to a much longer hole. And here we are at hole 4. You guys have seen it. It's kind of our standard test hole for the longer throwing discs. And I did not think that we would be here today with the Bunker Buster, but I do think it has that potential. The hole is 322 feet, but it does go uphill the last 50 or 60 or so, so it does play a decent bit farther than that. And you need to hang dead straight. You want to get to the right side of that broken in half tree, and then you need your stability to kick in immediately. And judging by our first throw, I think the Bunker Buster has that potential, so we're gonna throw it hard, throw it flat, see if we get a little turn, and then hopefully it dumps at about that 250-ish mark. All right, it went in a bit earlier than that. We are gonna run that back. I know I can throw that better. That wasn't great. There's a ton of dew out here, so just give me 1 second. Definitely have a lot more confidence in this throw. And guys, one thing about the Bunker Buster, truly being a huge fan of the Superclass disc, what I love about this is you can buy it and throw it. I've always, had a Jaguar in my bag, a Condor in my bag, and I like to show them to people, especially new players, and they're like, freak out, whoa, what is this? But they're always so ridiculously understable and touchy that when people go to just have fun and throw them, they just turn and burn. And you could usually only get them in DX plastic, and the premium plastics were rare and they're expensive, and then they drop the Blizzard Condor, which I made a video on, which was great, but again, it's a limited release. Like, it's just too much. You can just buy this giant disc and anybody can throw it and have fun. Huge fan of that. No limited nonsense. Oh yeah. We got it a little low. We made it up there past the initial trees. I think it will set up great for a little flick approach shot. So here's where our Bunker Buster landed, and this is a common landing spot for this hole. I often find myself reaching for my Justice, my overstable flick shot, because you don't really have a hyzer lane here. You hyzered off to the left generally, so you kind of have to go with a little turnover flick shot, give it a little run, and that's where I think these are gonna come into play perfectly. Oh, we did tap that branch, but we went right past the basket. Honestly, I think that hurt us. I think we would have had a little run without it. Now we're gonna run it back with our financial crisis because yes, that is a lot more relatable, especially for me here on the channel. I'm sure some of you guys can relate, but hopefully we can give this one a nice run as well. Oh, you know, they were both good. They were a little low. They're tracking right on target. Very fun disc. For our final test with the Crisis, we have kind of moved the distance up. I know a lot of people out there are, you know, predominantly forehand throwers. So this is 180 feet. You do have some room to work that kind of left to right. I do forehand this hole. I don't really trust it with my Justice, but these things, I think we can push a little more distance on. Hopefully they work out great. Get up there. All right, that's a little short. I noodle arm that one just a little bit. Give me one more shot. Do that one much harder. We got the distance. It would have crashed right more. We caught some random fluke branch up there because that's just how this course works. But as you can see, only my second or third throw with them, we are hitting that fairway. 2 for 2 is pretty good. With my forehand, like, I will take that. You can trust it, throw it hard, keep it pretty flat, let the disc do the work. And I know what you're thinking, Hunter doesn't putt. Listen, I know there's some psychopaths out there who don't putt with putters. And you know, you're frowned on by the community, but here on Tossing Plastic, I'll sneak it in there. So if you are looking for a new putter, maybe the Crisis is your next one. We have probably 45 feet to knock down our 2. Went a little deep. That's in. Yeah, I knew as soon as I let it go. They putt, guys, they putt absolutely. And for our final test with the Bunker Buster, we have come to the not so watery water hole. It is 260 feet. You have room to work that right to left, and that's why we're picking it. So far, I've just thrown this thing dead flat, and guys, it has stability to it. Without question, you hit that like 250 foot mark, and it wants to dump. Now, I'm not throwing it ridiculously hard. I'm not doing any of those things, but I am curious if we do throw it on some turn, if it's gonna immediately fight out of it, if it's gonna kind of glide, be workable. That's what we're testing here. So I will throw it on a bit of an ante, try to force it over a bit. Hopefully that stability hooks up for us and we leave ourselves a putt. It's meaty. It's definitely meaty. It held that turn for a little bit, not too long though, and then immediately just bent over. I will try it one more time. We are gonna run it back one more time, and I do wanna say, guys, it's stable. I'm throwing this pretty hard, not crazy on a ton of turn. We are gonna amp that up a little bit and throw it a little bit harder, and if it makes it over there, it's gonna be coming at that basket 1,000 miles an hour. Oh, too much. Oh, it did fight back. We caught the branches. Guys, it's not a straight shooter, okay? No matter how we want to try to twist and turn it, that thing is stable. I would not recommend trying to get it for shots like this. You just want probably, depending on your arm, 260 to 300, just throw it as hard as you can, get it to go straight for a while, and you'll get that left dump every time. That wraps up our first video showcasing Doomsday discs, and I do want to give them a huge shout out and a thank you. I did tell them, please send a couple doubles so I can send them to you guys. So as you know, like I mentioned earlier, you have a chance to win this one. And as far as these other two, guys, the Bunker Buster is ridiculous. It's huge, it's stable, but it's a lot of fun. You can just grab it and throw it. You can, you know, make people seem a little shocked when you pull this thing out of your bag. They don't know what you're gonna do with it. You know what I mean? That's what I like about it. Is it a defense weapon? You know, is it an actual disc? Dinner plate for on the go? Nobody really knows, and then you lace a drive with it, and it's awesome. Like, it's overstable, like I mentioned. Not super workable, but this plastic definitely feels like it can beat in, and then it will just be a fun, long flyer. I only got one of these, guys, but honestly, if I got two, I'd probably keep both. I absolutely love these style of discs. And the Crisis. If you guys have been watching my channel, you know my Justice. It's been in my bag forever. This would be a good back backup for it. The Justice has way too much sentimental value for me to trade out, but these overstable mids, you always want one. You always want a beefcake for those flick shots. And once you figure out its distance for the backhand, flat with some ante, with some hyzer, whenever you step up to a hole of that distance, just grab this disc. It will give you that result every time, even if you're throwing in a strong headwind. I mean, this thing just doesn't care about the wind. It's gonna push right through it. They're solid, reliable, and you can't go wrong getting one. It might feel like too much for your arm, but try it on the flick. It's workable, it's usable. Everyone should have one. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Now it's your turn to go toss some plastic.